Most contracting companies do a very poor job of social media captions, and they don't even realize it. Most of them look something like this, but I'm gonna show you in this video exactly how to actually make it look like this. And it's all gonna be done using ChatGPT and AI. Here is the prompt. It is based off of a book called Building a Story Brand. Fantastic book, would highly suggest it. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and copy the prompt, the way that I'm doing it, and we're gonna go ahead and just paste it into ChatGPT. I would highly suggest getting the GPT-4 upgrade. It's 20 bucks a month. It's gonna get you a much better caption as a whole. We're gonna fill out some information, and ChatGPT is gonna do the rest for us. So it's gonna say, write a social media post about a blank project where it's a kitchen remodeling project we just completed for our client. Do not use any promotion within the post. Do not use any emojis. Use a location within the first 5 words of the first sentence and be matter of fact, all right? I'll explain at the end why those are important, but for now, take my word for it. First things first, the client name and location. So I'm gonna make this up. We're gonna say it's the Smith family. I would highly suggest do the blank family because as a remodeler, and a contractor, you're appealing to families, so they wanna see that. And then you're gonna say the Smith family in, and I'm gonna do it here in Charlotte. We're gonna do Dilworth. I'm not gonna add in a state because it would be weird if I'm saying, hey, I'm a Charlotte-based remodeling company. If we are in Dilworth, North Carolina, like that's not a thing, just say Dilworth. The next thing is their surface level problem. So essentially, the Smith family, they had an outdated kitchen that was also too small. Super simple. Why was it a deeper problem? With this being said, now we're going to the emotional piece. So it's not enough just to say their kitchen was outdated because nobody drops $100,000 because something's outdated. They feel a certain emotion associated with it. And we want to talk about that. So in their case, they had an outdated kitchen. We'll say, why was that a problem? First off, they felt embarrassed when they invited guests over to their house for a dinner because of how dated their kitchen was. Now we want to address the piece of it's too small. Additionally, everyone felt cramped when standing in the kitchen chatting. I'll leave it at that. Obviously, you're gonna need to know the why behind this, all right? So in your sales call, you're gonna have to ask your prospect, it's outdated. Okay, great. How do you know it's outdated? Interesting. How does that make you feel, right? Like you wanna understand why they feel like it's outdated and what the consequence is. That's just sales 101, but you're actually gonna use that information for this. And if you're doing the social media, but you didn't sell the job and you're thinking, well, I have no idea why, ask the person, whoever sold the job, this information because they should have it. How do they find out about us? So I'm gonna say they found us on Google. Easy enough. The next piece is what made them trust us, okay? I'm gonna say they loved our, let's say, design and build model because it allowed them to see their vision come to life before we started any demolition. Why do they choose us? We'll say they also liked how that we had a lot of 5-star reviews on Google. Super simple, we're design build. They loved how we have a design build model and they wanted to see it all happen ahead of time, which made them trust us. Our solution, essentially, what did we do? From a top level, we're not gonna talk about step by step yet, but top level, we expanded the kitchen and finished it with, and we'll just say, and we expanded the kitchen and remodeled it with the latest, we'll say, design trends, design and function trends. All right, what was the basic process? So now we're just kind of giving them a little bit of insight into what did it take to make this happen. So we'll say, first, we created a design together for what they wanted their new kitchen to look like. Next, we started the demo. Next, we demoed the entire kitchen. After that, we'll say we reconfigured the electrical and plumbing. Finally, we installed new flooring, counter tops, backsplash, and we'll just say appliances. The last two pieces are the most important parts. How does this affect their lives? In a positive way, right? Because people are buying and remodeling their kitchen. They're spending all this money, not because they just want a new kitchen, but they want it to do something beneficial to their life. So in their case, we'll say they now, and you can kind of circle back to the beginning part, which is the problem, which is they now feel excited inviting guests over for dinner because of how their kitchen is on trend and acts as a great gathering place. Now the last piece here, and this is what most people skip on, and I don't want you to skip on it, so I'm gonna harp on it. What would happen if they didn't do the project? Not what would happen if they didn't do it with you, what would happen if they didn't do it at all right? Because if you just said, if they didn't do it with us, they would have had a terrible project. Like now you're just bashing the competition, but realistically the real enemy here is your prospect being complacent and apathetic in their kitchen. So we want to address that. So what would happen? They would continue to feel embarrassed inviting guests over and would probably feel the pressure to stop altogether. And that's it. So we filled everything out, and now what we're gonna do is hit enter and see what caption comes back from ChatGPT. All right, so here's what it's coming back with. In the charming neighborhood of Dilworth, the Smith family was grappling with a challenge that many homeowners often face. Their kitchen was not only outdated, but also too small for their needs. This was a genuine issue because it would cause them to feel embarrassed when guests visited for dinner and the tight space made for uncomfortable gatherings. The Smiths found our team via Google search. Impressed by our plethora of 5-star reviews and drawn to our design and build model, they felt confident we could bring their kitchen vision to life even before the first stroke of the demolition hammer. Interesting. Together, we embarked on a journey to transform their kitchen into a warm, inviting, and fashionable space. The process began with a collaborative design phase where we brainstormed ideas and developed a layout that would reflect their tastes and meet their needs. Following the design stage, our crew swiftly moved into the demolition phase, clearing the way for a fresh start. Next came the intricate task of reconfiguring the electrical and plumbing work to accommodate the expanded space and new layout. And finally, we brought the kitchen to life by installing contemporary flooring, sleek countertops, a stunning backsplash, and state-of-the-art appliances. The transformation was not just physical. The remodeled and more spacious kitchen has added a sense of excitement for the Smiths. They now look forward to hosting dinner parties, and their kitchen has become a comfortable place for social interactions, a far cry from the cramped and outdated room it once was. If they decided to avoid this project, the Smiths would have continued to grapple with the embarrassment of an antiquated kitchen and the strain of hosting in a cramped space. But today, thanks to our successful collaboration, they're relishing in the joys of their modern, spacious kitchen, eager to create countless memories with friends or family and friends. So, all in all, it hits on all the points. It's very storytelling, and now what it does is it lends an entire backstory to a before and after photo. Now, if you're reading this and you may be thinking, that's a little bit too wordy, we can simply ask ChatGPT to say, rewrite this, but use, we'll say, just fewer words, and we'll see what it comes back. And now essentially it's redoing the same thing, but it's gonna make it a little bit more matter of fact. And the best part is you get to kind of pick your style. Are you someone that's more of like the salesman and you wanna hype it up and go emotional, or do you wanna go more straightforward and make it super simple? But either way, you can't go wrong with this, because what you're doing is you're telling a great story. You're not just pitching your services, which is unfortunately what most people do. So now here comes the fun part. We're gonna copy and paste this actual script that ChatGPT gave back to us, put it into Facebook with the before and after, and hit go live, and that's it. I'll show you how we do it. I'm gonna go ahead and put both of these images in there. Okay, so now I have the before and after there. I like to go before first and then after second, because if you think about it, that's what everybody does. It's this is the before and this is the after. So now all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna use the first post, because I like that one. It's a little bit longer, but I'm okay with it. I'm gonna copy that, pop it into here. I'm gonna get rid of that because I don't want to say ChatGPT. All right, and I'm gonna hit post. Give it a second, and that is your final post. So now what you've just done is you've just added all of this context. So when somebody's scrolling, first off, they're gonna see on their newsfeed, they're gonna see this before and after, and they're gonna go, whoa, that looks pretty good. And then the first thing that they're gonna see is at the top, because the way that people read is the images are gonna stop them, and then if they're interested in this before and after, which is a good before and after, they're then gonna jump to the top and actually wanna read the caption. And here's why some of the things that we asked it was use the area they're in the first 5 words, which I think we got pretty close, is if I'm in Dilworth, which is where this project was, and the first thing I see is in the charming neighborhood of Dilworth, and I'm like, oh, that's me, I live in Dilworth. Then we go, the Smith family was grappling with the challenge that many homeowners often face. Well, now I'm bought into the story because I live in Dilworth, I see somebody in Dilworth got this done. Now I'm the nosy neighbor that I'm invested in what is happening. And then from there, that's when the rest of the story, we walk through it all. That's really all you need to do. All right, this will create more engagement on your post. If you notice at the end of it, I'm not saying call me or any of that stuff, because there's a time and a place for those types of Facebook posts, but you want to have posts that simply essentially get your name out in the areas that you want to be in. You want to grab the attention of your prospects in those areas by using those before and afters and then calling out that you're in that location. And this will create this hyper local feel that you as a business work in these neighborhoods that you want to be in, because you're essentially telling people, I am here. And it shows a huge level of empathy, because you understand that you're not there just to take someone's money, tear down their old kitchen and put a new one in. You're there to make sure that you're able to transform how they entertain their guests over the weekend. And that is really why people are hiring you in the first place, to update their kitchen. So if you do this correctly for all of your projects, you will start to have this amazing backstory of what you do, where you do it, why you do it, and people will now feel compelled to reach out to you because they see that you're not just some, slimy contractor trying to sell them stuff. They're now gonna feel comfortable because they know you know their why, because you're continuously talking about it in your social media posts, and that's how it's done. A big piece of this is having a before and after photo that you can use. So I'm gonna link to a video that you should watch that shows you how to do them correctly.